effective, but when it comes to fighting against late game and Dark Swarm, Archons are gonna be more effective. Like, nothing is more effective than a blob of Archons. Like, it is more powerful than even Ultra Link, and that's why people want it so much. So I kind of got careless with my units over there. Of course, that is something that I probably couldn't have expected either way, but but I probably should have been more careful on uh, running away perhaps with my units, since I only had tech units. Like you saw over there, I only had dragoons and only like high templars, so obviously I couldn't have stayed over there that much anymore. Um, I decided to also make a few dark templars. That was my first intention with that, was so that I could be using making two dark archons and using feedback against his defilers. But after that, I kind of changed my opinion and decided that I'm gonna use those dark templars to kind of counterattack. Um, I mean, not counterattack, but use those Dark Templars to add some pressure and snipe his units. Like, usually at those kind of times, he doesn't have an Overlord over there, so I figured that those Dark Templars could be especially powerful against this. And since he saw that I had an expansion attempt over here, and because he almost finished it off, it's like almost obvious that he's gonna want to um counter my expansion over there. I also saw those two overlords, and that's pretty much obvious that those two overlords are gonna have links. Like, if it was one overlord, then that would be one thing, but since it's two overlords, it's way too obvious that it's gonna make links. Like, he scouted my expansion earlier over there, so he probably wanted to just drop those links and finish off that or kill that nexus before it finishes or something. But since I didn't have the minerals to start the nexus earlier, those links were kind of useless in one way, but on the other hand, he used these links to drop on my main instead. And you gotta be very careful. Like 16 cracklings like that, they're gonna make all the difference in the world. They're just gonna destroy everything if you don't pay attention. Like, they're gonna kill buildings so fast that you want to avoid that at all costs. Um, Also, my Nexus almost died over here, so it means that it's going to be far more vulnerable, which is also why I kind of make a unit block, building blocks over here, so I have easier time defending it later on. I'm also kind of massing up my Archon blob over here. At this point, High Templars, like I told you guys before, they're not gonna be as good as they were before. So of course I want to have like at least 2 or 3 High Templars in every single army I have, and so on. But those storms are really gonna be all that I need. So I should just use the rest of it on Archons. And so I did quite a bit of damage. I was able to kill pretty much every single Zergling he had, which are one of the biggest damage dealers in the Protoss army. I was able to kill pretty much every single Zergling he had over there, and that pretty much means that since I was able to kill those Zerglings, his Ultralisks are very vulnerable against my Archons. And as you could see, Mass Archon is so feared like among Zergs for a reason. He had that massive blob of units. He had Dark Swarm, he had Zerglings, he had a lot of Ultras, but they still didn't win just because I had Mass Archon. And Mass Archon is one of those late game Protoss armies that it is almost impossible to beat unless you have like a billion Ultras or the Protoss gets careless or something. Like, you're gonna need like very good Dark Swarms, a ton of Ultras, like possibly Hydra, focus firing, and a lot of stuff that gets really complicated and so on. So you want to avoid Protoss getting like a massive blob of Archons, since they're just that effective. And I figure out that I gotta wait for a bit bigger army of units before I really can attack him or anything. Like, of course he just lost his army, so and because he's been playing on 3 bases for the longest time, it's pretty much obvious that that he's gonna have very inferior army to me. Like, he lost the battle by far. I still had like 6 Archon remaining after that battle. I've been rebuilding my units, and he's been on 3 bases way too long. I've kinda out expanded him, so really um he most likely will just get destroyed by my attack. And my army over here, I just gathered up a bit of zealots so that my archons, like, those zealots are the meat shield. They take the damage, and the archons do the real thing, and that's how it works almost every single time. That's why you want to have zealots as well, and escape with your tech army. Um, and now, since I have so many archons, I just gotta be careful for one thing, and that is that I don't get careless with his dark swarms. Under dark swarm, archons are only gonna do like 6 damage, since only the splash damage that is directly on top or something counts. So obviously that is one thing that you want to avoid, is that you kind of get too careless when it comes to fighting against like units under Dark Swarm with Mass Archon. Obviously it was already over at this point, but you want to avoid letting your Archons die under a Dark Swarm or getting careless with it. Like, that's one weakness that Mass Archons have. Not really a big weakness, but still. And that is I expect really nothing less of a loser player like this. Like, he asked me for 3 games, bragged that he's gonna win me so bad. Now that he plays straight up instead of cheesing, and now that he loses like this, he just disconnects. And that is just so funny. Like, Combat EX, he at least begs for wins, and so on. Like, this guy just disconnects, which is kind of kind of even more pathetic in one way. And whatever, GG.